Hello everyone, I'm Michelle Cassidy with the Florida Aviation Network, and we're here at the Howard Hughes exhibit in the Florida Air Museum on the grounds of Sun and Fun. And I'm here with Marley Lilly. It's nice to meet you, Marley Lilly.
Well, thank you.
Now tell me a little bit about your background before we get to this plane.
You mean what I worked at?
Yes, you're just...
I've done a lot of different jobs, but when I was building this, I was building wooden boats up to 55 feet. Sailboats and power boats, which they're still doing. And it was an interesting job. And I don't know, but I've done a lot of different jobs besides that. Built houses and woodworking I can do. This whole airplane is wood. The whole airplane is wood, and it took me 10 years to build it.
This airplane right here, so we're standing in front of the, what airplane is this called?
It's an Emerald. It was a French airplane, and it's the forerunner of the Cap 10 International Aerobatics airplane. And they still have the factory in France. And I bought a set of plans, and then I bought the material, and I just built it. It took me 10 years.
So it took you 10 years to build this whole entire plane. Did you build it by yourself, or was it all alone? Or?
I built it by myself. I had the engine mechanic do that because he knew more about engines than I did. But yeah, it's everything sawed out and done by hand.
So you flew this plane too, and you took it like a lot of places. Where have you taken this airplane?
Well, my wife and I flew it 22 years, and we flew all over the country. It's been into Pennsylvania, and we went out to Houston, San Antonio, Tennessee. It's been around. And went to North Carolina. My sister had a place up there. I used to fly in the mountains up there twice a year, and really interesting place to fly into with those mountains.
Definitely. So your wife was basically your co-pilot in all of this?
That's right. She can fly it in the air, and I made her follow through on takeoff and landings, and in case something happened to me, well, she could get it down.
Why don't we introduce her to everybody? Can you come?
Good idea.
And this is your wife. Hi.
58 years.
Wow.
58 years.
You've been married, wow, that's a long time, and you are?
Beverly Lilly.
Yes. And so you've basically flown with your husband all around everywhere.
Yes, we've had so much fun in this little airplane.
So it's so how long you guys been married? 65 years? 58 years, sorry. I'm sorry, there's a lot of numbers. Anyways, when did he start building this, and when you're married?
Oh, when 10 years, it was 1965 when he started. And then when we'd go on a trip, he would have to get the pieces all together, and we'd put it in the living room, and we'd go for our trip and come back, and he'd start in again.
That sounds like fun. So you guys been married for a long time, so you guys have a lot of history about each other, and you guys been through so much, I guess.
Well, we used to come here in this little airplane. There was no buildings, nothing. And we would, maybe there'd be 3 or 4 airplanes. We'd all get together, come in, get out of the airplane, sit down on the grass, and talk about airplanes, of course. So we had good times.
The first 2 years, this flying was on the other side of the runway here. And they got a fair amount of people, but that's where it started. Billy Henderson is the one that started it.
So you've been here since the beginning of Sun and Fun and everything?
I have volunteered every year. I used to come up here 3 or 4 times in the summer, cut trees and do whatever they needed. It was the volunteers that built this place and didn't charge a nickel.
Well, that's very interesting. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you for all your time here, and it was great to meet you guys.
Thank you, Michelle.
This airplane, it'll fly For about 6 hours, I had 2 tanks in it. It'll fly 6 hours at 120 miles an hour without wind. And that's pretty good mileage at 120 miles an hour, less than 6 gallons an hour.
So there's a lot of history behind this plane. I hope you guys come here and learn more here at the Florida Air Museum. And we hope you guys to see you at Sun and Fun.